The ice glowed blue under Europa's thin atmosphere as Commander Jackson Cole stood at the observation deck. From here, the vast emptiness of space stretched toward Jupiter's imposing silhouette, a gas giant that had once represented humanity's first great leap into the outer system. Now it represented something else entirely, a hiding place. Cole's breath fogged the reinforced glass as he stared at the kilometers of ice beneath the station. Somewhere down there, buried for almost a decade, lay humanity's greatest secret and perhaps its last hope. His calloused fingers traced an old scar that ran from his temple to his jaw, a reminder of the day the Council had pacified the Ganymede colony. "Commander," a voice crackled through his comm unit. "Transmission from Kuiper Observatory. Marked urgent." Cole sighed, his moment of reflection shattered. "Put it through, Burke." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a nervous-looking woman with dark circles under her eyes. "Commander Cole, this is Director Haley at Kuiper. We've detected a fleet formation entering the outer system. Configuration matches Growl Syndicate warships, at least 15 capital ships, maybe more." Cole's jaw tightened. The Growl Syndicate, pirates and mercenaries officially. But everyone knew they were the Council's unofficial enforcers when they needed plausible deniability.
Heading?
Directly toward Earth orbital space. Their current trajectory will take them past Jupiter in approximately 72 hours. Cole nodded. "Send me the full scan data. Anything else?" Haley hesitated. "Sir, they're running weapons hot. This isn't a patrol or a diplomatic mission." "Understood. Cole out." The transmission ended, and Cole stared again at the ice below, his mind racing through scenarios. His comm unit chirped again. This time, the message came through as text only, encrypted with a key that hadn't been used in almost a decade. "Leviathan activation protocol initiated. Authorization, Cole J09877. Time to deployment, 48 hours. Cole closed his eyes. After all these years, the moment had finally arrived. "Burke," he said into his comm. "Contact Teller. Tell him it's time. And alert all veterans with Lazarus clearance to report to Europa Station within 24 hours. Authorization, Phoenix Rising." "Sir?" Burke's voice wavered slightly. "Are you certain?" Cole gazed once more at Jupiter's swirling storms in the distance. "The Council left us to die once before. I won't let them do it again." As he turned from the viewport, Cole's hand instinctively touched the small medallion he wore beneath his uniform, a piece of metal recovered from the wreckage of the last Earthfleet vessel destroyed when the Council had forcibly retired humanity's defensive capabilities. "It's time to show the galaxy that Earth isn't prey anymore." The command center of Europa Station hummed with activity as Cole strode through the doors. What had been a sparsely populated monitoring station just hours ago now buzzed with veteran officers and crew members who had mysteriously appeared as if from nowhere. Many wore civilian clothes with only small pins, signifying their former ranks in Earth's disbanded fleet. Commander Sarah Burke stood at the central console, her once regulation-perfect uniform now weathered and modified with civilian patches. She'd been Cole's XO for 15 years, through the glory days of Earth Fleet and through its dismantling. When Cole had disappeared to Europa, she'd followed without question. "Status?" Cole asked, joining her at the display. 38 crew members have reported in so far, more arriving hourly." Burke handed him a data pad. "Teller is already below, running final systems checks." Cole nodded, scanning the roster. Each name brought back memories, some good, some haunted by screams and explosions. These were the survivors, the ones who'd escaped the Council's integration program that had effectively ended Earth's independence. "And the Growl fleet?" "Maintaining course toward Earth. They've made no transmissions, but Council battle groups are clearing shipping lanes. Whatever they're planning, the Council is complicit." A tall, wiry man with silver temples approached, his eyes bright despite obvious exhaustion. John Teller, had once been Earth's foremost intelligence analyst. Now he was officially listed as a historical researcher, a cover that had allowed him to piece together the Council's true intentions while helping build their contingency. "The old girl's ready," Teller said quietly. 9 years beneath the ice hasn't been kind to her systems, but the reactor's stable and weapons are operational. Life support is green across all decks. Cole placed a hand on Teller's shoulder. "You've done the impossible, old friend." Teller's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Not quite impossible. Just highly improbable. And illegal enough to get us all executed if the Council discovers what we've built." "If this works, the Council won't be giving the orders anymore," Burke interjected. The command center doors hissed open again as Governor Alexandra Ryle entered. As the civilian administrator of the Jupiter mining outposts, she represented what little political authority Earth still maintained in the outer system. Her presence here was as surprising as it was significant. "Governor," Cole acknowledged with a nod. "I didn't expect to see you involved in a military operation." Reel's sharp eyes surveyed the room. "When the Council stripped Earth of its fleet, they promised protection. 3 colonies have been raided in the past year alone. The Growl Syndicate takes our people as slaves, and the Council sends investigators who file reports and leave. This isn't just a military operation. Commander, this is survival." Cole studied her for a moment before nodding. "Then welcome aboard, Governor. Burke. Begin evacuation protocols for the station. Essential personnel only to transfer points. Teller, initiate warming sequence for the primary drive systems." As the others moved to their tasks, Cole turned to the main display showing Jupiter's massive form. 9 years ago, when the Council had ordered Earth's fleet dismantled under the pretext of galactic demilitarization, a small group of officers had made a different choice. While publicly surrendering their vessels for decommissioning, they had secretly salvaged components and resources, beginning construction of a single, massive vessel beneath Europa's ice. The Leviathan was never meant to exist. Its reactor technology alone violated 3 Council prohibitions. Its weapon systems would be classified as planet killers, and its very existence was proof that humanity had never accepted its assigned role as a resource provider to the greater galactic community. "Commander," Burke called from her station. "Primary evacuation complete. All essential personnel are at transfer points. Heating elements have melted the lower ice barrier. We're ready to begin ascent." Cole took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "Commence Operation Leviathan. Bring her up." Beneath Europa's icy crust, massive engines rumbled to life. Heat exchangers that had lain dormant for years began melting the surrounding ice in controlled patterns. The kilometers-thick shell above the Leviathan groaned as fault lines were strategically weakened. On the bridge of the newly awakened vessel, Cole settled into the commander's chair. Around him, stations lit up as veteran crew members took their positions, many for the first time in years. "Structural integrity at 97%, reported the engineering officer. "All decks reporting ready." Burke stood at Cole's right side, her expression a mixture of anticipation and concern. 9 years under ice. Let's hope she holds together. "Reactor output stable at 40%, Teller called from the science station. "Mark 7 systems are operational but untested. I wouldn't recommend pushing beyond 70% until we've run full diagnostics." Cole nodded, his hands resting on the arms of his chair. "Let's introduce ourselves to the galaxy. Begin ascent, 1/4 thrust." The Leviathan shuddered as its massive engines pushed against the weakened ice. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then, with a thunderous crack that reverberated through the hull, the ice sheet above them split open. On the tactical display, Cole watched as chunks of Europa's surface were thrust upward and outward. The massive vessel, nearly 4 kilometers long and bristling with weapon emplacements, emerged like some ancient creature awakening from hibernation. "We're receiving emergency signals from Jovian Control," communications reported. They're demanding identification. Ignore them, Cole ordered. Set course for Earth. Maximum sustainable speed. Let's see if we can intercept our Growl friends before they reach home. As the Leviathan cleared Europa's gravity well, its true silhouette became visible for the first time. Unlike the sleek, uniform designs favored by Council shipwrights, the Leviathan was a patchwork behemoth, built from salvaged components, retrofitted systems, and innovations born of desperation. Its hull bore no insignia, no identification beyond its imposing presence. "Sir," Tactical called out, "we're being painted by targeting systems from Jupiter orbital platforms." Cole exchanged glances with Burke. They'd known this moment would come, the point of no return. "Power shields. Arm forward batteries. Let's show them what we've built." The Leviathan's shields flared to life, a shimmering barrier of energy that encapsulated the massive vessel. Across its hull, weapon ports slid open, revealing battery after battery of plasma cannons and missile launchers. The Jupiter platforms fired first, a barrage of energy weapons that splashed harmlessly against the Leviathan's shields. "Return fire," Cole ordered calmly. "Minimal force. We're not here to destroy Earth assets." The Leviathan's forward batteries responded with precision strikes that disabled the platform's weapon systems without destroying the structures. As alarms blared across the Jovian system, the massive vessel accelerated toward Earth, its engines leaving a brilliant blue trail through space. "All stations, prepare for potential engagement," Cole announced over the ship-wide comm. "This is what we built her for. This is what we've sacrificed for. Today, Earth shows the galaxy that we are not helpless. We are not prey. We are the hunters now." On the main viewer, Jupiter receded behind them as the Leviathan set course for its first true test, the approaching Growl Syndicate fleet. The Leviathan's command deck fell silent as the tactical display updated. The Growl fleet had adjusted course, no longer heading directly for Earth, but moving to intercept the newly emerged vessel. "They've taken the bait," Burke observed, studying the projection. 15 capital ships, plus support vessels. They're spreading into attack formation." Cole nodded, his expression grim. "As expected. The Council wouldn't want witnesses for whatever they had planned for Earth. We're the more immediate threat now." Teller approached from his station, lowering his voice. "Jackson, our intelligence on Growl capabilities is years old. We don't know what upgrades they've made." "Then we'll find out," Cole replied. "Tactical, prepare main battery clusters. Communications, prepare a broadband transmission on all frequencies." As the crew moved with practiced efficiency, Cole felt a familiar calm settling over him, the focused clarity that had once made him Earth Fleet's most effective commander. He'd led ships into battle against pirates, rogue corporations, and even Council enforcers, but never with stakes this high. "Growl vessels entering weapons range in 30 seconds, Tactical announced. Cole stood, straightening his uniform, a habit from years of formal command. "Open channel." The communications officer nodded, and Cole faced the main viewer. "Attention Growl Syndicate vessels. This is Commander Jackson Cole of the independent Earth vessel Leviathan. You are in violation of sovereign Earth space. Your fleet has been identified as a hostile force. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." For several moments, there was no response. Then a harsh, gravelly voice answered. "Earth vessel. This is Commander Vex of the Growl Sovereign. Earth has no recognized military authority. Stand down and prepare to be boarded by order of the Galactic Council." Cole smiled thinly. "I was hoping you'd say that. Close channel." He turned to Tactical. "Target their lead vessel. Full forward battery. Show them exactly what kind of authority we have." The Leviathan's weapon systems came alive as energy surged through the massive vessel. Unlike the precision shots used against the Jupiter platforms, this was the unleashing of the ship's true power. Multiple battery clusters synchronized, focusing devastating energy on a single target. When the barrage hit the Growl lead cruiser, The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Its shields flared brilliantly for 3 seconds before collapsing entirely. The follow-up salvo tore through the vessel's hull, igniting its reactor and turning the once proud warship into an expanding sphere of superheated gas and debris. "By the stars," someone whispered on the bridge. Cole remained standing, his face illuminated by the distant explosion. "Target 2 more vessels, different classes if possible. We need to demonstrate our capabilities across their fleet types." The Leviathan's weapons spoke again. A Growl destroyer vanished in a similar ball of flame. A heavy cruiser, despite evasive maneuvers, lost its engine section and tumbled helplessly through space. Receiving multiple distress calls from the Growl fleet, communications reported. They're requesting immediate Council intervention. Now open a channel to all frequencies. Council monitoring posts, Earth settlements, independent traders, everyone. Cole straightened as the channel opened. "This is Commander Jackson Cole of the Earth vessel Leviathan. For too long, the Galactic Council has treated Earth and its colonies as resources to be exploited. They disarmed us under false pretenses. They allowed piracy and slavery to flourish in our systems, while denying us the means to defend ourselves." He paused, looking at the tactical display showing the remaining Growl ships beginning to retreat. "That ends today. The Leviathan is the first of a new Earth fleet, built in secret to protect our sovereignty. We will no longer accept the Council's empty promises of protection while our people suffer. Earth is not prey. We will defend ourselves, our colonies, and our future." As he ended the transmission, Burke approached. "That's quite a declaration of war, Commander." Cole watched the retreating Growl vessels. "Not war, Commander. Independence." "Sir," Tactical interrupted. "New contacts. 7 vessels emerging from FTL at the edge of the system. Configuration matches Council Security Directorate." Cole nodded, unsurprised. "Right on schedule. The Council never could resist showing force when challenged. Prepare the skip drive." The skip drive, another piece of technology forbidden by Council law, represented the Leviathan's greatest advantage. Unlike conventional FTL systems that required extensive calculations and energy buildup, the skip drive could make near-instantaneous jumps across relatively short distances. "Plot a skip to these coordinates," Cole ordered, sending data to the navigation console. "We'll hit them before they can establish formation." As the Council vessels moved into the system in textbook formation, the Leviathan's skip drive engaged. In a flash of distorted space, the massive vessel vanished, only to reappear moments later, directly behind the Council formation. "Fire all port batteries, full spread!" Before the Council ships could react, energy weapons and missile salvos tore into their unshielded rear quadrants. 2 smaller vessels were destroyed immediately, their hulls shredded by the unexpected assault. "Skip to coordinates Beta," Cole ordered calmly. Again, the Leviathan vanished, reappearing at the edge of the formation. Another devastating barrage claimed a 3rd Council vessel. "They're attempting to coordinate a response," Tactical reported, detecting targeting locks. "Skip to coordinates Gamma." The pattern continued, the Leviathan appearing, striking with overwhelming force, then vanishing before the Council ships could effectively respond. It was a tactic that violated every convention of space warfare, relying on technology the Council had banned precisely because it couldn't defend against it. After the 4th jump, the remaining Council vessels broke formation, engaging emergency FTL to retreat. On the Leviathan's bridge, a cheer erupted from the crew. Cole raised a hand for silence. "This is just the beginning," he cautioned. "The Council won't take this humiliation lightly. They'll return with a full battle fleet." Burke nodded grimly. "At least we've bought some time. What's our next move?" Cole studied the tactical display, where the Leviathan now stood alone in the suddenly emptied space. "Set course for Mars Colony. It's time to build our alliance." In the secure briefing room aboard the Council flagship Judicator, Chancellor Monroe pounded his fist on the polished table. Around him, holographic displays showed the devastation wrought by the Leviathan's surprise attacks. "How?" he demanded of the assembled officials. "How did Earth build a warship of this magnitude without detection? We've had monitoring posts throughout their system for years." Director Kyle of the Internal Security Directorate remained impassive, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly as it processed data. Preliminary analysis suggests the vessel was constructed beneath Europa's ice sheet, possibly using components salvaged from their decommissioned fleet. The radiation signature from its main reactor masked any construction activity. "And what exactly is this reactor?" Monroe asked, his voice dangerously quiet. "4 of our vessels destroyed in minutes. That level of firepower shouldn't be possible from a ship of that configuration." Kyle's expression tightened. "We believe they've developed a Mark 7 antimatter reactor. It's the only explanation for the energy readings we're detecting." A murmur ran through the assembled officials. Mark 7 technology had been banned after the corporate wars nearly 2 centuries earlier. Its efficiency made it devastating as both a power source and, potentially, a weapon. "This Cole," Monroe continued. "What do we know about him?" An intelligence officer stepped forward. "Commander Jackson Cole, former Earth Fleet. Distinguished service record until the Ganymede incident, where he disobeyed direct council orders to withdraw, attempting instead to evacuate civilians during the insurgent purge. He was officially censured but retained his rank due to political considerations. When Earth's fleet was decommissioned, he disappeared from official records." Monroe's eyes narrowed. "And now he reappears with an illegal warship and declares independence from council authority." He turned to Kyle. "I want Operation Nightfall authorized immediately. Full spectrum response." Kyle's cybernetic eye flashed. "Chancellor, Operation Nightfall would mean—" "I know exactly what it means," Monroe snapped. "Cole has forced our hand. If Earth successfully breaks from council authority, other fringe worlds will follow. The entire Outer Rim could destabilize within months." After a moment of tense silence, Kyle nodded. "I'll need your authorization code for the record." Monroe placed his hand on the biometric scanner. "Authorization, Monroe Alpha 79. Operation Nightfall is now active. Primary target, the vessel Leviathan and all associated personnel. Secondary target, Earth leadership structures. We will make an example of them that the galaxy won't soon forget." As the officials filed out, Monroe remained seated, staring at the tactical display showing the Leviathan's projected course toward Mars. His thoughts drifted to the secret communication he'd received just hours earlier, a message from his private contacts on Earth, offering terms that would secure his position when the inevitable restructuring came. Perhaps, he mused, there was an opportunity here after all. Mars colony had changed since Cole had last visited. Once a thriving center of scientific research and commerce, it now bore the unmistakable signs of council oversight. Security checkpoints at every intersection, propaganda displays extolling the benefits of council membership, and the ever-present compliance officers monitoring civilian activities. The Leviathan maintained high orbit, its massive form casting a shadow over portions of the Martian surface as it rotated. Below, in a supposedly secure meeting room within the old Colonial Administration building, Cole faced representatives from various Earth settlements and outposts. "The Council will respond with everything they have," warned Director Wong of the Ceres Mining Cooperative. "They can't allow what you've done to go unanswered." Cole nodded. "They're already preparing. Our intelligence suggests Operation Nightfall has been authorized." A shocked silence fell over the room. Operation Nightfall was spoken of only in whispers, the Council's ultimate sanction against rebellious worlds, involving not just military action, but complete societal dismantling. "Then we're already dead," someone muttered. Governor Ryle stood from her seat at the table. "No, that's exactly what the Council wants us to believe. That resistance is futile, that their power is absolute. Commander Cole has proven otherwise. The Leviathan destroyed Council warships that were supposed to be invincible. One ship won't win a war, argued the representative from Luna Base. It's not just one ship, Cole replied quietly. The Leviathan is the first, yes, but there are others. Teller activated a holographic display showing schematics for 3 additional vessels of varying configurations. Construction has been underway in hidden facilities throughout the outer system, Teller explained. Using the same methods that created the Leviathan, they're not as large or as powerful, but together, they form the core of a real fleet. The representatives studied the display with expressions ranging from hope to disbelief. Even if what you're saying is true, Director Wong said, you're asking us to commit to open rebellion against the Council, the same Council that obliterated New Sydney when they refused mining quotas. What chance do we really have? Cole stepped forward. We have something New Sydney didn't. Knowledge of Kuiper Station. Another silence. Heavier this time. Kuiper Station was the Council's secret administrative hub in the outer system, rumored to be where the real decisions were made, far from the public faces and diplomatic niceties. I have confirmation that Chancellor Monroe himself will be at Kuiper in 48 hours for an emergency meeting with internal security. Cole continued. We believe they'll be finalizing the Nightfall protocols there. If we strike then, we can capture their operational plans and possibly Monroe himself. Burke, who had remained silent until now, spoke up. What Commander Cole isn't saying is how we obtained this intelligence. We've had supporters within the Council structure for years, people who recognize that the current system is corrupt and unsustainable. They've been feeding us information, waiting for the moment when real change becomes possible. Governor Reel nodded slowly. So the Leviathan isn't just a ship. It's a symbol, proof that resistance is possible. Exactly, Cole confirmed. But symbols alone won't win freedom. We need your colonies, your outposts, your resources. We need a united front. One by one, the representatives exchanged glances. The room remained tense with unspoken fears and calculations. Finally, Director Wong stood. Ceres stands with Earth. Better to die fighting than live as slaves. Others followed. Luna, Europa, Ganymede survivors, the Titan Consortium. Only the Mars representative remained seated. Mars cannot openly support this action, he said carefully. We have too many Council monitors. But he slid a data chip across the table. These are the access codes for the orbital defense grid. They might prove useful. Cole pocketed the chip with a nod of understanding. We move on Kuiper Station in 36 hours. Return to your colonies. Prepare your people. When the Council comes, and they will come, be ready to stand together. As the representatives filed out, Burke approached Cole. That went better than expected. People are ready for change, Cole replied. They just needed to know it was possible. He paused, his expression darkening. The Kuiper raid will be dangerous. If our intelligence is wrong, or if the Council suspects a trap, it's our best chance to disrupt Nightfall before it begins, Burke reminded him. And capturing Monroe would give us a powerful bargaining chip. Cole nodded absently, his thoughts already turning to the tactical challenges ahead. Prepare a strike team. Our best veterans, plus anyone with experience in Council facilities. We'll need to move fast and hit hard. As Burke left to make arrangements, Cole remained alone in the meeting room, staring at the holographic display still showing their fledgling fleet. 4 ships against the might of the Galactic Council. Impossible odds by any rational assessment. But rationality had never been humanity's greatest strength. Stubbornness, perhaps, or hope in the face of overwhelming opposition. Either way, the die was cast. There would be no going back. Kuiper Station hung in the shadow of Neptune, its sleek, angular form betraying its Council origins. Unlike the utilitarian designs favored by Earth engineers, Council architecture emphasized form as a demonstration of power. Sweeping curves and imposing silhouettes meant to inspire awe and submission. From the bridge of the Leviathan, Cole studied the station's defenses. As expected, a security cordon of 4 Council frigates maintained position around the facility, their sensor arrays sweeping surrounding space in regular patterns. Approaching jump coordinates, navigation reported, skip drive charged and ready. Cole nodded. Deploy strike shuttles. Commence operation on my mark. In the Leviathan's launch bay, 3 assault shuttles waited, each carrying a team of veterans equipped with salvaged and modified Council combat gear. Burke would lead Alpha Team to secure the central control hub. Teller, despite Cole's objections, had insisted on leading Beta Team to the data cores. Cole himself would command Gamma Team in capturing Monroe. All teams report ready. Commander, came the confirmation. Cole took a deep breath. Execute jump. Space folded around the Leviathan as the skip drive engaged. For a disorienting moment, the massive vessel existed partially in normal space and partially in the dimensional fold created by the drive. Then, with a flash of displaced energy, it reappeared directly above Kuiper Station, far inside the security cordon. Launch shuttles, all batteries, target those frigates. As the assault shuttles streaked toward the station, the Leviathan's weapons opened up on the surprised Council vessels. 2 frigates were destroyed before they could raise shields. The others began evasive maneuvers, returning fire, even as they called for reinforcements. Cole's shuttle bucked as it entered Kuiper's defensive envelope. Automated turrets tracked the approaching vessels, filling space with plasma bursts and projectiles. Evasive pattern Delta, Cole ordered the pilot. Aim for the executive docking port. The shuttle corkscrewed through the defensive fire, taking hits that scorched its reinforced hull. Beside Cole, the strike team checked weapons and breaching equipment. With a jarring impact, the shuttle crashed into the designated docking port, its specialized nose cone drilling through the station's outer hull. Emergency force fields contained the atmosphere breach as the strike team disembarked, immediately engaging the security personnel responding to the intrusion. Cole moved with the efficiency of decades of combat experience. His modified pulse rifle dropped 2 Council guards before they could bring their weapons to bear. Behind him, his team secured the corridor with practiced precision. Alpha Team has breached central control. Burke's voice reported through the comm. Heavy resistance, proceeding to primary objective. Beta Team at data core access, Teller added. Security protocols engaged. Working on override. Cole gestured his team forward. According to their intelligence, Monroe would be in the Executive Conference Center, a heavily secured area 3 levels up. As they moved through the station, alarms blared and emergency lighting bathed the corridors in pulsing red. Approaching executive level, Cole reported. Status? Control center secured, Burke responded, the sound of weapons fire in the background. Station defenses disabled. You should have clear access to the conference center. Data core breach successful. Teller's voice added. Downloading Nightfall protocols now. Cole, you need to see this. They're planning something bigger than we anticipated. Send it to my display. We'll discuss once Monroe is secured. As Cole's team reached the executive level, they encountered unexpectedly light resistance. Just 2 guards who surrendered immediately upon seeing the Earth forces. Something felt wrong. The conference center doors were sealed, but unguarded. Cole's team placed breaching charges and took position. Breach in 3, 2, 1. The charges detonated, blowing the reinforced doors inward. Cole led the way, weapon raised, expecting a room full of council officials and security forces. Instead, he found Chancellor Monroe alone, seated calmly at the head of the conference table. Commander Cole, Monroe greeted him, as if they were meeting for a scheduled appointment. I've been expecting you. Cole kept his weapon trained on the Chancellor. Hands where I can see them. You're being taken into custody. Monroe smiled thinly. I think not. You see, this meeting was arranged specifically for you. A holographic display activated on the table, showing a live feed from what appeared to be a council chamber. Officials were voting, displays tabulating their decisions in real time. "What you're witnessing," Monroe explained, "is the Council voting to accept Earth's formal surrender, a document I signed on behalf of your government just hours ago. As of this moment, Earth is no longer a sovereign entity, but a direct protectorate of the Council." Cole's grip tightened on his weapon. Earth would never agree to surrender. This is a deception. "Is it?" Monroe's smile widened. "Check with your intelligence officer. The data he's downloading will confirm everything I'm saying. Your government, or rather, certain influential members of it, decided that resistance was too costly. They've accepted Council authority in exchange for certain accommodations." Cole's comm unit crackled. "Cole, it's Teller. You need to see this. The Nightfall protocols include documentation of a surrender agreement signed by Earth Security Council. According to these files, it's legitimate." Cole felt a cold weight settling in his stomach. "Who signed it?" "General Hayes, Secretary Voss, and 3 cabinet ministers," Teller replied, his voice tight with anger. "They've sold us out." Monroe spread his hands. "You see, your rebellion was doomed before it began. The Leviathan is impressive. I'll grant you that. But one ship, even with its illegal technologies, cannot stand against the combined might of the Council. Your own leaders recognize this reality." For a moment, Cole stood frozen, the implications cascading through his mind. If Earth had truly surrendered, the Leviathan and its crew would be classified as pirates, renegades with no legal standing or protection. Then he noticed something. A slight discrepancy in the holographic display. A fractional delay in the supposed live feed from the Council chamber. "Teller," Cole said into his comm, "verify the timestamp on that surrender document. When exactly was it signed?" A pause. Then, "The metadata shows..." "Wait. This can't be right. According to the file properties, the document was prepared 3 weeks ago, but only officially recorded yesterday." Cole leveled his gaze at Monroe. "You planned this. The Growl Fleet, the response force. All of it was orchestrated to draw us out." Monroe's smile faded. "Not entirely. We knew about the Leviathan. Yes, we've known for years. But we needed you to reveal yourself, to commit to open rebellion, so we could crush you completely. The surrender was our insurance policy, a way to ensure that even if you scored initial victories, you'd have no political ground to stand on." "Broadcast everything," Cole ordered into his comm. "Teller, transmit the entire data cache, the surrender document, the timestamps, this conversation, everything to all Earth settlements and colonies. Let people see the truth." Monroe's expression hardened. "It won't matter. The average citizen doesn't care about political machinations. They care about safety, stability, resources. The Council provides these things." "At the cost of freedom," Cole countered. "At the cost of human dignity." A distant explosion rocked the station. Cole's comm crackled again. "Cole, we have Council reinforcements inbound," Burke reported urgently. "At least 20 vessels. We need to withdraw immediately." Cole kept his weapon trained on Monroe. "You're coming with us, Chancellor. The people deserve to hear the truth directly from you." Monroe's smile returned, cold and calculating. "I think not, Commander." His hand moved to a concealed control on the table. "This station is equipped with a self-destruct system. If I don't enter the override code every 30 seconds, it detonates. You can take me, but you'll never escape the blast radius." Another explosion, closer this time. Cole's team looked to him for direction. After a moment of tense silence, Cole lowered his weapon slightly. "You're right about one thing, Chancellor. The average citizen doesn't care about political maneuvering, but they do care when they see their leaders willing to sacrifice themselves for freedom." He raised his comm unit. "All teams, complete your objectives and return to the shuttles. We're leaving, without the Chancellor." Monroe's confident expression faltered. "You're bluffing. You need me as a hostage." "No," Cole replied. "What we need is the truth. And now we have it." He turned to leave, then paused at the doorway. "The station's self-destruct sequence, is that real, or just another lie?" For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Monroe's face. "You can't possibly be willing to—" Cole cut him off with a cold smile. 30 seconds, Chancellor. I suggest you start entering those override codes." As Cole and his team withdrew, Monroe scrambled for the control panel. His carefully constructed facade of control shattered. Back aboard the shuttles, the Earth forces disengaged from Kuiper Station as Council reinforcements began arriving in system. The Leviathan's weapons kept the enemy vessels at bay long enough for the shuttles to dock. Then, the massive ship engaged its skip drive once more, vanishing before the Council fleet could coordinate an effective response. On the Leviathan's bridge, Cole reviewed the data stolen from Kuiper's cores. The full extent of the betrayal now laid bare before him. Not just a surrender document, but details of how Earth's resources would be divided, how its population would be managed, how its history would be rewritten to justify Council rule. "The transmissions are going out," Teller reported, his voice tight with controlled rage. "Every settlement, every colony, they're all seeing what the Council really had planned." Cole nodded grimly. "And Monroe?" "Still on Kuiper. The reinforcements evacuated the station shortly after we left. Our intelligence suggests he's being recalled to Council headquarters, either for debriefing or punishment for his failure." "And the Council fleet?" Burke approached with a tactical update. "Regrouping at Saturn. Nearly 60 vessels, including 3 dreadnoughts. They're preparing for a full assault." Cole studied the tactical display, his mind racing through scenarios. The Leviathan was powerful, but not invincible. Against a coordinated Council fleet of that size, even with its advanced technology, the outcome was uncertain at best. "Send word to our allies," he decided. "It's time to gather what forces we have. The Council wants a war? Then we'll give them one they won't forget." The Martian orbital shipyards had once been the pride of humanity's expansion into the solar system. During the initial colonization period, they had produced the vessels that carried settlers to the outer planets and established the mining operations that had made Earth wealthy. When the Council had arrived, offering membership in the galactic community, the shipyards had been gradually decommissioned, ostensibly to prevent dangerous proliferation of spacefaring capabilities. Now, those same shipyards hummed with activity once more. The Leviathan held position at the center of a growing constellation of vessels, some newly constructed from hidden caches of materials, others repurposed from civilian craft, all armed with whatever weapons could be salvaged or manufactured. In the main assembly hall of the former Martian Colonial Administration building, Cole addressed representatives from every human settlement in the solar system. The hall was packed, with hundreds more watching via secure transmission. "The Council has declared us rebels and pirates," Cole began, his voice carrying across the hushed chamber. "Chancellor Monroe has signed away Earth's sovereignty without consent or consultation. In response, I say this: governments derive their power from the governed. Monroe and his collaborators have forfeited any right to speak for humanity." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly. "The data we recovered from Kuiper Station reveals the Council's true intentions," Cole continued, gesturing to displays showing the most damning excerpts. "Not partnership, but subjugation. Not protection, but exploitation. They disarmed us not for peace, but to render us defenseless against their plans." Governor Ryle stepped forward to stand beside him. "Every colony, every settlement has now seen the evidence. The vote has been taken. By overwhelming majority, we hereby establish the Terran Free Alliance, an independent confederation of human worlds, free from Council control or interference." The assembly erupted in cheers and applause. When the noise subsided, Ryle continued. Commander Cole has been appointed Supreme Commander of our Defense Forces. All military assets and personnel are hereby placed under his authority. Our first priority must be defending against the Council fleet gathering at Saturn. Cole nodded his acknowledgement of the responsibility. The Council believes this will be a short conflict, that their superior numbers and technology will quickly overwhelm us. They expect us to fragment, to surrender when faced with their full might. They are wrong. He activated a holographic display showing the solar system, with particular focus on the space between Mars and Saturn, where the Council fleet was amassing. Our strategy is not to meet them in a conventional battle. We can't win that way. Instead, we will fight asymmetrically. The Leviathan will lead our primary battle group in a direct engagement to draw their attention. Meanwhile, smaller, faster vessels will target their supply lines, their communications, their command structure. Teller stepped forward, highlighting specific points on the display. Council vessels are dependent on quantum-locked communications and specialized fuel compounds. We've identified key vulnerabilities that can be exploited. Additionally, their command structure is hierarchical and rigid. Disrupt it, and individual captains will hesitate without clear orders. As the briefing continued, tactical officers outlined attack vectors, contingency plans, and retreat protocols. The assembled representatives listened intently, occasionally asking questions or offering suggestions based on their knowledge of specific regions or council tendencies. When the formal strategy session concluded, Cole found himself approached by a woman he didn't immediately recognize. Weathered face, military bearing, but wearing civilian clothes. "Commander Cole," she said, extending her hand. "Captain Elena Chen, formerly of the Mars Defense Auxiliary. Before that, Earth Fleet Special Operations." Cole shook her hand, noting the firm grip. "Captain, what can I do for you?"
"It's what I can do for you," she replied. "I've been running an underground resistance cell on Mars since the Council took control. We've been gathering intelligence, stockpiling weapons, training fighters. We're ready to join your alliance."
"We need every skilled person we can get," Cole acknowledged. "What's your specialty?" A cold smile crossed Chen's face. "Infiltration and asymmetric warfare. My team specialized in boarding actions during the corporate wars. If you're planning to disrupt the Council's command structure, we should talk." Before Cole could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Burke's voice came over the comm system. "All personnel to battle stations. Council advance force detected entering Mars orbital space. Estimated time to engagement, 15 minutes. Cole and Chen exchanged glances. "Looks like your combat experience is about to be tested sooner than expected. Captain, report to the Leviathan's tactical officer for assignment." As Chen hurried away, Cole made his way to the command center, where Burke already had the tactical display activated, showing a formation of 12 Council vessels approaching Mars. "Scouting force," Burke assessed. "Testing our defenses before the main fleet commits." Cole studied the enemy configuration. "Or trying to draw us out, reveal our full capabilities." He made a quick decision. "Power up the Martian defense grid using the access codes we were given. Bring the Leviathan to combat readiness. But hold position. Let's see what they do when they don't get the response they expect." The Council vessels entered Mars orbit in standard patrol formation, maintaining a distance that would normally be just outside planetary defense range. For several tense minutes, they held position, scanning the Terran forces, but taking no aggressive action. "They're broadcasting on an open frequency," communications reported. "Put it through," Cole ordered. A stern Council officer appeared on the main display. "Attention illegal Terran forces. This is Commander Voss of the Council Security Directorate. You are ordered to power down all weapon systems and surrender the vessel designated Leviathan immediately. Failure to comply will result in orbital bombardment of Mars colony." Cole stepped into visual range of the communication pickup. "This is Commander Cole of the Terran Free Alliance. Mars and all human settlements are now independent sovereign entities. Your presence in our space is a violation of that sovereignty. Withdraw immediately." The Council commander's expression hardened. "You have no recognized status under galactic law. Your alliance is an illegal insurgency. I repeat, surrender the Leviathan and all military assets, or face immediate consequences." Cole smiled thinly. "You seem to be operating under a misapprehension, Commander. We're not asking for recognition. We're declaring fact. And the fact is, you're outgunned." At Cole's signal, the Martian defense grid powered up. Dozens of ground-based and orbital weapons platforms that had been secretly maintained despite Council prohibition. Simultaneously, smaller Terran vessels moved into flanking positions around the Council formation. "Final warning," Cole stated flatly. "Withdraw, or be destroyed." For a moment, the Council commander seemed uncertain, clearly surprised by the extent of the defenses suddenly revealed. Then his expression hardened once more. "Open fire!" he ordered his fleet. The space above Mars erupted in energy discharges as Council vessels launched their attack. The Martian defense grid responded immediately, its concentrated fire overwhelming the shields of the lead Council vessel. The Leviathan's weapons joined the barrage, targeting the formation's command ship with pinpoint accuracy. "They're breaking formation," Tactical reported, as the Council vessels scattered, trying to avoid the concentrated fire. "Target their engines," Cole ordered. "Disable, rather than destroy where possible. We need to send a message, not create martyrs." The battle unfolded with surprising swiftness. Despite their superior numbers, the Council vessels were unprepared for the coordination and firepower of the Terran defenses. Within 20 minutes, 3 Council ships had been destroyed, 4 disabled, and the remainder were retreating toward the outer system. As the last enemy vessel disappeared from sensor range, a cheer went up in the command center. Cole raised a hand for silence. "This was only a prelude," he cautioned. "The main Council fleet will come next, and they won't underestimate us again." He turned to Burke. "Damage assessment?" "Minimal. 2 defense platforms destroyed. 3 of our vessels reporting moderate damage. No casualties." Cole nodded. "Good. But we won't be so fortunate next time." He studied the tactical display, where long-range sensors showed the main Council fleet still gathering at Saturn. "They'll analyze every aspect of this engagement, adapt their tactics accordingly. We need to be ready." "What's our next move?" Burke asked. Cole's expression was grim, but determined. "We take the fight to them. If we wait for their full fleet to organize, we'll be overwhelmed. We need to strike while they're still coordinating, create confusion in their command structure." He turned to Teller. "Is the secondary battle group ready?" Teller nodded. 7 vessels, all equipped with modified skip drives. Not as powerful as the Leviathans, but functional for short jumps. "Prepare for departure in 6 hours, Cole ordered. "Target, Saturn orbital space. We're going to hit their flagship before they can fully organize their response." As the command staff dispersed to prepare for the operation, Burke remained behind with Cole. "This is it, isn't it?" she said quietly. "The real war begins now." Cole nodded, his gaze still fixed on the tactical display showing the massive Council fleet. "Everything until now has been prologue. What happens next will determine whether humanity stands free or falls forever under Council dominance." "Quite a weight to carry," Burke observed. Cole finally looked away from the display, meeting her eyes. "We've carried it since they first dismantled our fleet, since they first told us our place was to provide resources, not to have a voice. This is just the moment when we finally put it down, one way or another." The rings of Saturn glittered in the distant sunlight as the Leviathan and its accompanying vessels emerged from their skip jump. The majestic gas giant had once been the site of humanity's most ambitious colonial projects, floating research stations in its upper atmosphere, mining operations extracting exotic compounds from its storms. Now, those same facilities served as forward bases for the Council fleet assembling to crush the Terran rebellion. 63 Council vessels detected, Tactical reported, including 3 dreadnoughts and the command carrier Judicator. Cole studied the enemy formation displayed on the main viewer. The Council ships were arranged in a defensive posture, clearly anticipating a potential Terran attack, but not expecting one so soon or so direct. Identification protocols are active. Communications added. They're trying to verify our transponder signals. Scramble all identifiers, Cole ordered. Let's keep them confused as long as possible. He turned to the weapons officer. Target the Judicator's command tower. Maximum firepower. All forward batteries. As the Terran vessels closed on the Council fleet, confusion rippled through the enemy formation. The sudden appearance of the Leviathan, a ship that shouldn't have been able to reach Saturn so quickly, caused hesitation in the Council response. That hesitation cost them dearly. The Leviathan's main weapons unleashed a devastating barrage directly at the Judicator's command section. Despite its powerful shields, the Council flagship shuddered under the impact, its defensive barriers fluctuating. Council vessels moving to intercept, Tactical warned, receiving targeting locks from multiple directions. Execute dispersal pattern Alpha, Cole commanded. Secondary vessels, engage designated targets. Leviathan will continue focus on the Judicator. The smaller Terran ships broke formation, each targeting specific Council vessels according to the pre-planned assault pattern. Though outgunned individually, their coordinated attacks created chaos throughout the Council fleet, as captains struggled to respond to threats appearing seemingly at random throughout their formation. On the Leviathan's bridge, Cole remained focused on the Judicator. Prepare for close-range engagement. Increase power to forward shields. The massive Earth vessel drove deeper into the Council formation, weathering increasing fire as more enemy ships brought their weapons to bear. The Leviathan's shields flared continuously under the assault, but its specialized reactor provided enough power to maintain defensive integrity while continuing offensive operations. Judicator is maneuvering to escape, Burke reported from her station. They're trying to put their dreadnoughts between us. Not happening, Cole responded. Execute skip jump to coordinates Delta. Put us right on top of them. Space distorted around the Leviathan as its skip drive engaged for a microjump, a dangerous maneuver at such close range to other vessels. When reality stabilized, the Earthship had appeared less than a kilometer from the Judicator's flank, well inside its defensive screen. Fire everything we have, Cole ordered calmly. Target their engines, weapons, and command structure. The Leviathan's batteries unleashed their full fury against the exposed sections of the Council flagship. At such close range, even the Judicator's advanced shields couldn't fully absorb the concentrated assault. Hull plating buckled, weapon emplacements shattered, and atmospheric venting created plumes of crystallizing gas from multiple breaches. Their main reactor is destabilizing, Teller reported from the science station, reading massive energy fluctuations. Cole nodded grimly. All surrounding Council vessels will move to protect their flagship. Signal our secondary ships to disengage and prepare for emergency jump to rendezvous coordinates. As the Terran vessels began their coordinated withdrawal, the Judicator's damaged systems finally gave way. A cascade of explosions rippled through the massive Council vessel, culminating in a blinding flash as its primary reactor breached containment. The shockwave battered the retreating Leviathan, causing systems to flicker and alarms to sound throughout the ship. Behind them, the pride of the Council fleet became an expanding cloud of superheated plasma and debris, momentarily outshining Saturn itself in the darkness of space. Damage report, Cole called out as the Leviathan stabilized. Shields at 34%, engineering responded. Hull breaches on decks 7 through 12. Emergency containment holding. Skip drive functional, but needs 4 hours minimum for safe operation after that stress. Cole surveyed the tactical display, where the remaining Council vessels were in disarray, some moving to rescue survivors from the Judicator, others attempting to pursue the retreating Terran ships. Still others maintaining defensive positions as if uncertain what threat might appear next. "Conventional drives, maximum sustainable speed," he ordered. "Get us clear of their weapons range. Without skip capability, we can't risk further engagement." As the Leviathan and the surviving Terran vessels withdrew from Saturn space, Cole allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. The destruction of the Judicator, the Council's most powerful warship and symbol of their military dominance, would send shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity would not be subjugated without a fight, and that fight would extract a terrible price. "Sir," communications called out, "we're receiving transmissions from throughout the system. News of the Judicator's destruction is spreading rapidly. Multiple Council client worlds are declaring support for the Terran Alliance." Burke approached Cole's position, her expression a mixture of amazement and concern. "We've started something bigger than we anticipated." Cole nodded slowly. "The Council's grip has been weakening for decades. We've just shown it can be broken." He paused, his gaze returning to the tactical display where Council vessels still searched the wreckage of their flagship. "But the war isn't over. It's barely begun." The observation deck aboard the Leviathan offered a panoramic view of Martian orbit, now filled with vessels of all configurations, from newly constructed Terran warships to converted mining platforms bristling with hastily installed weapons. In the 2 weeks since the destruction of the Judicator, the Terran Free Alliance had grown from a desperate rebellion to a legitimate coalition, with representatives from a dozen formerly Council-controlled worlds joining the cause. Cole stood alone at the viewport, watching as shuttles ferried diplomats and military officers between ships. His reflection in the transparent aluminum showed the toll of recent events, new lines around his eyes, a certain hollowness to his cheeks that spoke of too little sleep and too many difficult decisions. The door hissed open behind him as Governor Reel entered, now formally recognized as the interim president of the Alliance. "Commander," she greeted him, "the Council is assembling. They're waiting for your assessment." Cole nodded without turning from the viewport. "I'll be there shortly." Reel moved to stand beside him, following his gaze to the bustling activity outside. "It's remarkable what you've accomplished in such a short time. From one ship to a fleet, from a desperate stand to a movement that's spreading throughout the outer systems." "Not my accomplishment," Cole corrected her. "Every person who chose freedom over submission made this possible." "Perhaps," Ryle acknowledged, "but they needed a symbol, a leader. That was you, Commander." She paused, studying his profile. "The Council has responded to our victory at Saturn. They've declared martial law across all their territories. Chancellor Monroe has been recalled to their homeworld, officially for consultation. But our intelligence suggests he's being held responsible for the failure to contain our rebellion." "And the fleet?" Cole asked, finally turning to face her. "Regrouping beyond Neptune. Our long-range sensors detect at least 90 vessels, including everything they can spare from other sectors. They're preparing for a full-scale assault." Cole's expression remained impassive, but inwardly, he calculated the odds. Despite their growing strength, the Alliance still commanded only about 30 combat-capable vessels. Even with the Leviathan as their flagship, the numerical disadvantage was severe. "We've received word from the Proxima colonies," Ryle continued. "They're voting tomorrow on whether to join the Alliance. If they do, it could trigger a cascade effect throughout the near systems." "The Council knows this," Cole responded. "That's why they're gathering such overwhelming force. They need to crush us quickly, before the rebellion spreads further," he sighed, running a hand through his hair. "How many civilian ships have we evacuated from the potential combat zone? Nearly 80% of non-essential personnel have been relocated to Earth or the inner colonies. But Cole..." Ryle hesitated. "Some are questioning whether evacuation sends the wrong message.
They wonder if we're preparing for defeat.
We're preparing for reality, Cole stated flatly. When the Council attacks, it will be with everything they have. I won't risk civilian lives unnecessarily.
Real nodded, accepting his reasoning. The Council is waiting. They need your strategic assessment. Together, they made their way to the Leviathan's primary conference room, now serving as the headquarters for the Alliance leadership. Around the large central table sat representatives from every major human settlement, along with the captains of the largest vessels in the hastily assembled fleet. Burke and Teller were already present, engaged in quiet conversation with Captain Chen, whose infiltration expertise had proven invaluable in recent operations against Council intelligence posts. As Cole entered, the room fell silent, all eyes turning to him. The situation is straightforward, he began without preamble. The Council is assembling their largest fleet in recent memory beyond Neptune's orbit. Our intelligence suggests they'll be ready to move within 48 hours. Their target will be Mars, the heart of our alliance and our primary shipbuilding capacity. He activated the holographic display in the center of the table, showing the solar system with the Council fleet's position clearly marked. They outnumber us 3-1 in vessels, with a significantly greater advantage in firepower. A conventional defense would be suicidal. Murmurs of concern rippled through the assembled leaders. Then, what do you propose, Commander? Asked the representative from Luna Colony. Cole manipulated the display, highlighting Neptune and its surrounding space. We don't wait for them to bring the battle to us. We take it to them, but on our terms. The display shifted, showing a complex formation of Terran vessels positioned near Neptune's largest moon, Triton. The Council expects us to defend Mars directly. Instead, our main fleet will position here, using Triton's gravity and magnetic field to mask our signatures. When their fleet passes this position en route to Mars, we strike from behind and above, targeting their command vessels and support ships. Captain Chen leaned forward, studying the projection. They'll have scouts and screening vessels. They'll detect our position. Cole nodded. Exactly. That's why we need a diversion. He adjusted the display again, showing a smaller force near Neptune itself. This group, led by the Leviathan, will engage their advanced elements directly, make them think we're attempting a repeat of the Saturn strategy. While their attention is focused on us, the main fleet strikes their vulnerable rear sections. The tactical discussion continued for hours, with every aspect of the plan dissected, analyzed, and refined. Questions of timing, weapon allocation, contingencies for various Council responses, all were debated thoroughly. As the meeting finally concluded, Burke approached Cole. You've assigned yourself to the diversion force, she noted. The Leviathan will be directly in the path of the Council's main batteries. Cole met her gaze steadily. The Leviathan is our most powerful ship. If the diversion is to be believable, it needs to be led by our flagship. And it needs to be led by you, Burke added, her tone making it clear this wasn't a question. Yes, Cole acknowledged. The Council knows me, fears me. My presence will focus their attention exactly where we want it. Burke studied him for a moment. This isn't a suicide mission, Jackson. We need you to survive this. The corner of Cole's mouth twitched in what might have been the ghost of a smile. Survival has never been guaranteed in war, Sarah. But I don't intend to die pointlessly. He placed a hand briefly on her shoulder. The Leviathan was built to take punishment. We'll hold their attention long enough for you to break their formation. Then, disengage. Burke didn't appear entirely convinced, but she nodded. I'll begin preparing the main fleet. We'll need to move within 12 hours to reach position undetected. As the conference room emptied, Cole remained behind, studying the holographic display still showing their planned battle formation. The odds were long, the margin for error non-existent. If the Council detected their strategy, or if the diversion failed to draw sufficient attention, the Alliance fleet would be decimated. But war was always a gamble, he reflected.
A series of calculated risks taken in pursuit of an objective deemed worth the potential cost. The question that haunted him, that kept him awake during the brief hours allocated for sleep, was simpler. Was freedom worth the lives that would be lost in its name? Not just his own. He had made peace with his mortality long ago, but the thousands who would die following his orders. The answer, he had decided, lay not with him, but with those who had chosen to fight. From the veterans who had joined the Leviathan's crew to the colonial militias now training for ground defense, each had made their choice. His responsibility was to make that choice count, to ensure that if they died, their sacrifice served the cause they believed in. With that grim thought, he deactivated the display and turned toward the door. In less than 48 hours, the fate of humanity's independence would be decided in the cold vacuum beyond Neptune. Whatever the outcome, the galaxy would never be the same. Neptune's blue-green disk dominated the view screen as the Leviathan and its small escort of 6 vessels held position in the shadow of the gas giant. Long-range sensors monitored the approaching Council fleet, a massive armada of warships moving in tight formation toward the inner system. Council advanced scouts entering detection range. Tactical reported. Estimated time to visual contact, 7 minutes. Cole nodded, his expression betraying nothing of the tension he felt. Signal the main fleet. Operation status confirmed. Execute on schedule. Around him, the Leviathan's bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, each focused on their assigned tasks. Many had served together in Earth Fleet before its dismantling. Others were colonial defense forces, or even former merchant crew who had volunteered for military service when the rebellion began. All understood the stakes of the coming engagement. "Sir," communications called out. "Receiving transmission from the Council flagship. Text only. They're ordering us to stand down and surrender." "No response," Cole replied. "Let them think we're maintaining communications silence." The minutes ticked by as the Council scouts drew closer, probing ahead of their main force. Soon, they would detect the Leviathan's position, triggering the first phase of the battle plan. "Council scouts have altered course," Tactical announced. "They've detected us, increasing speed to intercept." Cole straightened in his command chair. "Bring all weapon systems online. Shields at maximum. Prepare to engage." The Leviathan's massive engines flared as the vessel moved out from Neptune's shadow, deliberately revealing itself to the approaching Council forces. Its escort vessels spread out in an aggressive formation, weapons charging visibly, a clear challenge to the oncoming scouts. "Council main fleet accelerating," Tactical reported. "They're deploying into combat formation." Cole allowed himself a thin smile. The Council commander was responding exactly as anticipated, diverting significant forces to deal with the perceived threat of the Leviathan, rather than maintaining their course toward Mars. "Target lead scout vessel," Cole ordered. "Full forward battery. Make it impressive." The Leviathan's main weapons discharged in a coordinated barrage that obliterated the lead Council scout ship before it could take evasive action. The remaining scouts scattered, retreating toward the protection of their main fleet while transmitting urgent warnings. "Council battle group altering course to intercept," Tactical confirmed. 20-plus vessels breaking formation from their main body. Cole nodded to Burke, who stood ready at her station. "Signal the main fleet. Execute Phase 2. Far from the unfolding confrontation, hidden in Triton's shadow. The primary Alliance fleet began moving into attack position. Under Burke's command, they would wait until the Council committed fully to engaging the Leviathan before striking at the now vulnerable rear of the enemy formation. "Council battle group entering weapons range in 30 seconds. Tactical warned. Reading energy buildup across multiple vessels. They're preparing to fire." "Evasive pattern Delta," Cole ordered. "Bring us around Neptune's upper atmosphere. Use the magnetic interference to disrupt their targeting systems." The Leviathan dove toward Neptune, its escort vessels following in tight formation. Council energy weapons lashed out, most missing as the Terran ships used the planet's dense atmospheric layers to scatter targeting sensors. Council forces continuing pursuit, Tactical reported. Main fleet holding position but deploying additional vessels to the engagement. Cole studied the tactical display, watching as more and more Council ships were diverted to deal with the Leviathan's provocative attacks. The plan was working. Attention was being drawn away from the main Alliance fleet, now moving silently into position. "Sir!" Communications interrupted urgently. New contacts emerging from FTL at the edge of the system. Configuration unknown. Cole frowned. This was an unexpected development, one that could potentially disrupt their carefully coordinated strategy. "On screen," he ordered. The main viewer shifted to show a cluster of vessels, unlike any in the Council or Alliance fleets. Their sleek, organic-looking hulls bore no visible weapon emplacements. Yet something about their configuration suggested immense power contained within. "Receiving transmission," communications reported, surprise evident in his voice. It's in ancient Earth standard, pre-Council contact protocols." "Put it through," Cole ordered, a sudden suspicion forming in his mind. A face appeared on the screen. Human, but with features that suggested generations of adaptation to different gravity and environmental conditions. "Terran vessels. This is Commander Alara Voss of the Proxima Defense Force. We received your distress call. The Proxima Confederation stands with Earth and her colonies. Please transmit tactical data so we may coordinate our approach." A stunned silence fell over the Leviathan's bridge, broken only when Teller let out a disbelieving laugh. "The lost colonies," he said softly. "They came back. During the early days of human expansion, before the Council had arrived and restricted Earth's development, colony ships had been sent to Proxima Centauri and several other nearby star systems. Contact had been lost during the subsequent reorganization under Council authority, and most had assumed the colonies had failed or been absorbed into Council control. "Transmit full tactical data," Cole ordered, his mind already recalculating the battle plan to incorporate these unexpected reinforcements. "And get me a direct channel to Commander Voss." As the communication was established, Cole addressed the Proxima commander. "Your arrival is timely. Commander Voss, we're engaged in a critical operation against Council forces. Any assistance you can provide would be most welcome." Voss nodded, her expression serious. "We've monitored the situation for some time. Commander Cole, the Council's influence has reached even to Proxima, though we've maintained our independence through isolation. When we detected your broadcast, the destruction of the Judicator and the formation of the Alliance, we knew the time had come to rejoin our human brethren." "How many ships have you brought?" Cole asked, trying to assess how this changed their tactical situation. 17 combat vessels, plus support craft," Voss replied. "Our technology differs from both Earth and Council standards. We've developed independently for generations. But I believe you'll find our capabilities significant." As if to emphasize her point, one of the Proxima vessels accelerated toward the Council battle group pursuing the Leviathan. Energy readings from the ship spiked dramatically, and a moment later, a coherent beam of concentrated force lashed out, cutting through a Council cruiser as if its shields didn't exist. "Most impressive," Cole acknowledged, a new hope kindling within him. "We have a fleet positioned behind Triton, preparing to strike the Council's main force from behind. If your vessels can engage from the perpendicular vector, we can catch them in a three-sided trap." Voss nodded sharply. "Transmitting movement orders to my fleet now. We'll follow your lead, Commander." As the communication ended, Cole turned to his tactical officer. "Adjust battle plan. Signal Burke to coordinate with the Proxima vessels. We're now executing Convergence Pattern Alpha." The tactical display updated, showing the new configuration of forces. What had been a desperate gamble suddenly looked like a coordinated military operation with genuine chances of success. "Council forces responding to the Proxima attack," Tactical reported. Their formation is breaking down as they attempt to address multiple threats simultaneously. Cole nodded grimly. Now, we press our advantage. Bring the Leviathan about. Target their command vessels directly. No more feinting. It's time to end this. The massive Earth vessel swung around, its weapon systems locking onto the Council fleet's command ships, now exposed by their disintegrating formation. Simultaneously, Burke's forces emerged from Triton's shadow, striking the Council's rear guard, while the Proxima fleet engaged from the perpendicular, creating a three-dimensional kill box from which the Council vessels struggled to escape. The space around Neptune erupted in weapons fire as the largest space battle in human history unfolded. Council vessels, despite their superior numbers, found themselves caught in crossfire from three directions, their coordinated defense shattered by the unexpected complexity of the attack. On the Leviathan's bridge, Cole directed the assault with the calm precision that had made him legendary among Earth Fleet veterans. Target priorities, shield allocations, movement patterns, all flowed from his command station to the various elements of the combined human fleet. Council fleet attempting to regroup. Tactical reported after nearly an hour of continuous engagement. Their remaining command vessels are falling back toward the system edge. Pursue and engage, Cole ordered. Don't give them time to establish a defensive perimeter. The battle continued for hours more, gradual attrition wearing down the Council forces, until finally, the remaining vessels broke formation entirely, each captain apparently deciding that survival took precedence over their mission objectives. One by one, the Council ships engaged their FTL drives, disappearing into the depths of space. As the last enemy vessel vanished from sensors, a cheer erupted across the Leviathan's bridge, quickly echoed throughout the ship and across the communications channels, linking the Allied fleet. Cole allowed the celebration for a moment before raising his hand for quiet. Damage report? Shields at 27%. Engineering responded. Hull breaches on multiple decks, but containment is holding. Weapon systems operational but depleted. Reactor stable but showing signs of stress from sustained high output. And the fleet? Tactical consulted the incoming reports. 8 Alliance vessels destroyed. 14 reporting significant damage. Proxima forces lost 3 ships. Council losses estimated at 40-plus vessels confirmed destroyed, with at least that many damaged and retreating. Cole nodded slowly, absorbing the information. A decisive victory, but not without cost. Hundreds of lives lost, perhaps thousands. Yet, compared to the potential devastation had the Council reached the inner colonies, the price seemed almost merciful. Sir, communications called out. Incoming transmission from Earth. Priority channel. Cole straightened his uniform. Put it through. The main viewer activated to show a chamber filled with representatives from Earth and the colonies. At their center stood Governor Reel, now officially confirmed as President of the Terran Alliance. Commander Cole, she began, her voice carrying the weight of formal pronouncement. News of your victory has reached Earth. The Council fleet is in retreat across all sectors. Reports are coming in of uprisings on a dozen worlds, previously under Council control. The Galactic Council itself is in emergency session, with multiple delegations calling for recognition of Terran independence. A murmur of amazement rippled through the bridge crew. Cole maintained his composure, though inside, a tightly controlled hope began to build. The Alliance Congress has voted unanimously, Ryle continued. As of this moment, all human worlds and colonies are declared independent sovereign entities, united under the banner of the Terran Free Alliance. The age of Council dominance is over. The bridge erupted in cheers once more, this time with no restraint. Officers embraced, some wept openly. Others simply stood in stunned silence as the magnitude of what they had accomplished sank in. Cole acknowledged the announcement with a formal nod. The fleet stands ready to defend that independence. Madam President, the Council may yet attempt to reassert control. We're counting on that readiness. Commander, Ryle replied, this is only the beginning. The path ahead will not be easy, but for the first time in generations, that path will be chosen by humanity itself. She paused, then added more personally. Bring our people home, Jackson. It's time to start building the future we fought for. As the transmission ended, Cole remained standing, gazing at the tactical display where the scattered remnants of the Council fleet were still visible, retreating toward the edges of the solar system. Burke approached, standing beside him in silence for a moment before speaking.
It doesn't seem real, she said quietly. After all these years, planning, hiding, building, we actually did it.
Cole nodded, his eyes still fixed on the display. We've won the battle, the war. He let the thought hang unfinished. You think they'll be back? It wasn't a question, and Cole didn't treat it as one. The Council has ruled for centuries. They control thousands of worlds, countless resources. They won't surrender their authority because of one defeat, no matter how decisive. Burke studied his profile, noting the lines of exhaustion etched around his eyes. But we've changed the equation. The Proxima forces, the client worlds rising up, the Council's facing challenges on multiple fronts now, which makes them more dangerous, not less, Cole replied. He finally turned from the display to face her. When people with power start losing it, they rarely surrender gracefully. They lash out, take risks they wouldn't normally consider. Like Operation Nightfall, Burke remembered grimly. Exactly. Cole's expression hardened. We need to consolidate our gains, strengthen our defenses, build more ships. The breathing space we've earned won't last long. Burke placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of both comfort and camaraderie. Then we'll be ready. But for now, the crew needs this moment. They've earned it. Cole's stern expression softened slightly. Yes, they have. He straightened his uniform and turned toward the celebrating bridge crew. Communications, ship-wide channel. As the channel opened, Cole addressed the entire vessel. This is Commander Cole. Today, we've achieved what many thought impossible. The Council fleet has been defeated, and the Terran Alliance stands free and independent. He paused, looking around at the faces of his bridge crew, some jubilant, others still processing the magnitude of what had transpired. Each of you has played a vital role in this victory. From those who helped build the Leviathan in secret, beneath Europa's ice, to those who joined our cause when the call came. You have my deepest gratitude and respect. Cole's voice took on a more solemn tone. We should also remember those who aren't here to share this moment, the crew members we've lost, the colonies sacrificed before we could build our strength. Their memory will guide us as we move forward. He drew a deep breath before continuing. Our work isn't finished. The Council will regroup, return with greater force, but we've proven today that humanity won't bow to tyranny, no matter the odds. We've shown the galaxy that Earth is not prey. We are the hunters now. As Cole ended the transmission, a sense of purpose seemed to settle over the bridge. The celebration continued, but with a newfound determination underlying the joy, a collective understanding that this victory was just the beginning of a longer struggle. Set course for Mars, Cole ordered navigation. All ships to form up for the return journey. Let's bring our fleet home. The journey back to Mars took nearly 2 weeks at sustainable speed, allowing time for essential repairs and for the combined Alliance and Proxima fleets to establish coordination protocols. The Leviathan's damage, while significant, proved less severe than initially feared, a testament to the durability built into the vessel during its secret construction. As they approached Mars orbit, Cole stood at the observation deck, watching the red planet grow larger in the viewport. Behind him, the door hissed open as Teller entered, datapad in hand. Final casualty reports, Teller said without preamble, his expression grim. 2,746 confirmed dead across all Alliance vessels, Another 812 missing, presumed lost with their ships. Cole accepted the datapad, scanning the figures with a heavy heart. Each number represented a life given in service to humanity's freedom, a sacrifice he felt personally responsible for, even knowing it had been necessary. "And the Council losses?" he asked. "Harder to confirm, but our best estimates put it at over 12,000. They lost 43 capital ships confirmed, with at least 20 more severely damaged." Cole handed the datapad back. "Make sure these names are recorded properly. Every person who died deserves to be remembered." Teller nodded. "Already in progress. President Ryle has ordered a memorial to be constructed on Mars, with the names of everyone lost in the rebellion, from the first Council suppressions to our victory at Neptune." Cole turned back to the viewport, where Mars now dominated the view. The orbital shipyards were visible, once abandoned, now bustling with activity as the Alliance worked to expand its defensive capabilities. "You know they're calling it the Liberation War now," Teller commented. "The media, the politicians, they're already shaping the narrative." "History is written by the survivors," Cole replied, "and sometimes rewritten by those who come after." Teller studied his old friend for a moment. "You don't sound like someone who just won a war." Cole's reflection in the viewport showed a faint, humorless smile. "Because I understand what most of them don't yet. This was just the opening phase. The real war is still coming." "The Council?" "Not just the Council." Cole turned to face Teller directly. "Think about it, John. We've upended the political structure that's governed this sector for centuries. The power vacuum won't just affect Earth and the colonies. It'll reshape alliances, trade relationships, military deployments across hundreds of systems." Teller nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. "And not everyone will welcome that disruption." "Precisely. Some will see opportunity. Others, a threat to their own interests." Cole gestured toward Mars and the fleet assembling in its orbit. "What we've built here, this alliance, this fleet, it needs to be more than just a rebellion. It needs to become a stabilizing force, a new kind of governance that offers something better than what the Council provided." "That sounds like politics, not military strategy," Teller observed with a raised eyebrow. Cole sighed. "The two are inseparable now. I'm a soldier, John. I know how to fight battles, win wars. But building peace? That's something else entirely." "You're thinking of stepping down," Teller realized, surprise evident in his voice. "Once the immediate threat is contained, yes, the Alliance will need leaders who can build, not just destroy. Diplomats, administrators, visionaries." Cole's expression softened slightly. "I've seen enough death. Once I'm certain humanity is secure, I want to find something else to dedicate my life to." Before Teller could respond, Cole's comm unit chirped. "Commander, we're receiving a priority transmission from Alliance Command. President Reel requests your presence for an emergency briefing upon arrival." "Acknowledged," Cole replied. "Inform the President will dock within the hour." As the communication ended, Teller gave Cole a questioning look. "So much for peace," Cole said with resigned acceptance. "Let's see what new crisis demands our attention." The Alliance Command Center occupied what had once been Mars Colonial Administration, a sprawling complex of reinforced structures built into a massive crater wall. Originally designed to coordinate the planet's terraforming efforts, it now served as both military headquarters and provisional government for the nascent Terran Alliance. Cole and Burke were escorted directly to the central briefing room upon their arrival. Inside, President Ryle stood at a holographic display table, surrounded by military and civilian advisors, their expressions uniformly grave. "Commander Cole, Commander Burke." Ryle acknowledged their arrival. "Thank you for coming directly. We have a situation developing that requires your immediate attention." Cole stepped to the table, studying the display which showed a region of space beyond the solar system. What am I looking at, Madam President? Real nodded to a civilian in scientific attire, who adjusted the display to zoom in on a specific area. Dr. Edward Williams, our Chief of Deep Space Monitoring. Williams cleared his throat nervously. Commander, approximately 16 hours ago, our long-range sensors detected a massive energy signature at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. At first, we thought it might be a natural phenomenon, perhaps a micro-singularity or an exotic matter reaction. But further analysis confirmed it was artificial in origin. The display shifted again, showing energy readings and spatial distortions. A council fleet, Cole asked, though something about the patterns seemed unfamiliar. Williams shook his head. No, sir. The signature doesn't match any known council technology. In fact, it doesn't match any propulsion or weapon system in our database. Burke leaned closer to the display. First contact situation? That's our current assessment, Ryle confirmed. An unknown entity or entities, with technology capabilities beyond our current understanding. Cole's mind raced through the implications. Timing seems significant. Just weeks after we defeat the Council, an unknown force appears at the edge of our system. My thoughts exactly, Ryle agreed. This could be coincidence, or it could be that our conflict with the Council attracted attention, perhaps from a power that's been watching from a distance. Or waiting for an opportunity, Cole added grimly. What do we know about their capabilities, their intentions? Williams adjusted the display again. Very little concrete data. The energy signature suggests propulsion technology far more efficient than either Alliance or Council systems. We've detected no conventional communications that we can recognize or decode. As for intentions, he spread his hands helplessly. We simply don't know. Ryle stepped forward. Which is why we need the Leviathan. Commander Cole, I'm authorizing an investigative mission to the coordinate point where this signature was detected. Your vessel is the only one with both the defensive capabilities and the skip drive technology to approach safely and withdraw quickly if necessary. Cole nodded, already mentally calculating resource requirements and tactical options. When do we depart? As soon as your crew has had minimal rest and the Leviathan's critical systems are verified operational, Ryle replied. We've already begun loading specialized sensor packages and first contact protocols into your ship's databases. First contact protocols, Cole repeated, a hint of irony in his voice. Written by the same council that tried to subjugate us. Modified considerably, Ryle assured him. We've incorporated historical Earth first contact theories and Proxima experiences. Commander Voss has agreed to accompany your mission. Her people have encountered other non-council species during their isolation. Cole straightened. Decision made. We'll depart within 12 hours. Burke, begin crew recall and system checks. I want the Leviathan at full combat readiness, but all weapon systems on standby protocol. We'll approach cautiously, but prepared for any contingency. As the briefing continued with technical details and mission parameters, Cole found his thoughts drifting to the irony of their situation. They had just won their independence, broken free from an oppressive galactic power, only to face an unknown entity that might represent an even greater threat. Or perhaps an opportunity for a different kind of future. Whatever waited at the edge of the solar system, Cole knew humanity's path forward had just become significantly more complex. The Leviathan, built in secret to secure Earth's freedom, would now serve as humanity's vanguard in an entirely new frontier. As the meeting concluded, Cole approached President Ryle privately. One request, Madam President. Yes, Commander? If we don't return, if this turns out to be a threat beyond our capacity to handle, don't hesitate. Use everything we've built to protect our worlds. The freedom we've won is too precious to surrender, no matter what comes next. Ryle studied him for a moment before nodding solemnly. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But if it does, We'll honor your sacrifice by ensuring humanity remains free." Cole left the briefing room with a renewed sense of purpose. The war for independence might be over, but humanity's struggles, and its potential, were just beginning. Whatever waited beyond the edge of known space, the Leviathan would meet it not as prey, but as the vanguard of a free people determined to forge their own destiny among the stars. Standing on the bridge of the Leviathan once more, Cole gazed at the view screen, showing the distant, cold regions of space where their sensors had detected the unknown entity. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency, preparing the ship for yet another mission into uncertainty. "All systems ready, Commander," Burke reported from her station. "The Proxima liaison team is aboard and integrated with our sensor specialists. We're cleared for departure." Cole nodded, settling into the command chair that had become almost an extension of himself over the past weeks. Navigation, plot course to the target coordinates. Engineering, prepare skip drive for sequential jumps. I want us approaching with caution. As the massive vessel disengaged from Mars' orbital dock, Cole allowed himself one last look at the red planet, symbol of humanity's resilience and newfound unity. Whatever they discovered in the depths of space, Earth and her colonies now stood together, free and determined. "Engage drives," he ordered, turning his gaze forward once more. "Let's see what's waiting for us out there." The Leviathan's engines flared brilliant blue as the ship accelerated away from Mars, carrying humanity's hopes and fears toward an uncertain future, one that they would face not as subjects of an alien empire, but as free people charting their own course among the stars. Behind them, Earth shone like a blue jewel in the darkness, no longer prey, but the home of hunters awakened to their power and purpose in a galaxy suddenly filled with new possibilities.